great intensity, particularly, I thought Trey and DJ from a leadership standpoint, really the beginning of the third quarter I thought was a crucial time for us when we came out of timeout. And those two guys, over the course of the game, I think, not just with the other guys on the team, but with one another, connecting and pushing each other. Our bench was really good. We've been getting contributions from a lot of different guys, and I think that a lot of that had to do with our fans and being at home and kind of losing yourself in the game. And everything's easier when you're in the moment like that and you're not thinking, and your nerves drop away. And thought we, as a group, we just really threw ourselves into the game.
I know the words that you said yesterday in practice were precise and forceful that you wanted to see from your team. Like, how do you feel like that helped you kind of take advantage of the mismatches, especially in the second half?
We were more precise with I thought we were more forceful than we were precise. But our spacing was better in a lot of those situations, and we were willing to get off the ball and really make a higher percentage play than we were the other night. And sometimes that means the guy with the ball too, but we read the situations better, I think, as much as anything. We're a little more patient, and we're able to make the right play because we made the right read.
I know Trey and DJ are the focal point right now, but also the bench too. It felt like Jalen kind of settled in, Sadiq kind of settled in, playing in postseason. Like, what did you think about them coming off the bench tonight?
Yeah, you said it. I thought Sadiq came in and gave us a lift. He's too good a shooter to not see the ball go in eventually, and he made in the first half hit a few in a row. Had a little string there, and JJ's a unique player. And there's a lot of things that he can do. He made the one jump shot, his first shot, and saw the ball go in, but I don't think, for him, I don't want him to tie his identity to making a shot. He's a guy that can make plays, and I thought he did that as well. So, O again, gave us a lift. Those guys, they've been doing that, and as I said, I think, they've kind of just thrown yourself into it and hanging in there, and we got to keep grinding because next one's going to be even harder.
Quinn, I know you mentioned Onyeka, but also Clint, and just your big's impact in the paint and that presence in the paint. What did you like about Clint's impact as well?
Yeah, Clint's a pro, and he's a really selfless player. There's a lot of times, the things that those two guys do, and we'll say in this case, speaking of Clint, they impact the game in ways that doesn't always show up on this. And they're selfless with one another. They root for each other. And it gives us two guys that are different, but both impactful in their own way. And to me, I think they're both fun to play with because they care. And like I said, they're selfless players.
Quinn, there's obviously been a lot of focus on Trey the last few days. What have your conversations with him been like, and what was your sense for how he would play tonight?
Yeah, we watched some film, got out in the court, and he's been good. He's been locked in, and I think the message, as much as anything, for him and for our whole group, is just to stay aggressive, and try to make the right play. And he got a little down. He turned it over one time and just kind of shaking his head and said, let's get to the next play. I don't want him thinking about what just happened. Just stay aggressive, and make every mistake can make you better if you process it the right way. And, I thought you could tell he found a rhythm tonight, and it was good to see that because he's been working on it. He's been watching and trying to figure out how he can attack somebody, and it's the same thing. I think our whole group has been in that same situation. We haven't seen the ball go in, and I'm happy that nobody relented, nobody kind of gave in to that mindset. We stayed aggressive and kept playing and got rewarded for it.
Coach, Boston jumps out 6-0 in the fourth quarter. They're not going to go away easily. What's the message to the team, just the fourth quarter, to kind of compose them?
Yeah, I think really throughout the game, for them to, they made a lot of shots, and they can do that, and sometimes that's tough to overcome when you're taking the ball out of the net after another three, and they're putting you in difficult situations because Tatum in particular is just hard to guard one-on-one, so you have to commit multiple defenders to him, and those other guys are, you know, they're prepared. They know when those shots are coming, and he's become an excellent passer. And you can tell he takes a lot of pride, you know, in making a play when he gets double teamed. So they can score in bunches, as you said, and they did. I think it just goes back to like, let's get the next stop, you know, because that's crucial for us. You know, if we can get a stop and really try to run off their defense, you know, I think we're just better in space.
Coach, two-part question. 74 points in that first half. What, if anything, changed in your philosophy from games 1 and 2 moving into this game? And then could you also speak to us about Bogey's performance in that first half?
Well, philosophically, I want us to score and make every shot, so that didn't change. I think, you know, there's a law of averages that, you know, sometimes you just want it to kick in quicker than it does. And I thought some of that was our guys just being a little, we were loose without, you know, being, you know, we tried to be aggressive is I guess the word, as opposed to loose, but to not take the weight of the world on your shoulders, whether the ball goes in or not. And we helped each other with that. I think all the guys just really encouraging one another to keep playing and keep attacking, and Bogey's a big part of that. You know, I mean, Bogey's ability to make shots and make plays, you know, picks other guys up when they see him do that, and I think it encourages other guys, his teammates, to be aggressive too, and take their shots.
Coach, I think the big message in those first 2 games was stringing together a full 48 minutes. I'm curious, I know it's just one game, but what does it say about the steps that this team is taking?
Yeah, you know, I mentioned in the beginning of the third quarter, I think the key thing is when those stretches when you're not playing as well, or maybe you're playing pretty well, but they're playing better. And you can weather some of those storms, you know, and not beat yourselves. And that's part of the connection and the communication that really every good team has that gets you through those rocky periods. So they're gonna come. It's really just a question of how you deal with them, and as mentally as much as tactically.
Quinn, you mentioned leadership that you saw from Trey and DJ there in that third quarter. What was it that you were kind of seeing from them coming out of the huddles that kind of got you guys to
They were talking to each other, first of all, kind of figuring out what they were thinking together, playing off each other. You know, and I think you saw it in some of the execution, you know, in the fourth quarter there. You know, at one point I was like, I should just be quiet, let them go ahead and do it. Because they were, usually when that's happening as a coach, if you feel that, you know, and you respect those guys, and they are communicating like that, if they're on the same page, people will play off them. And I think that's what happened to us, even though there was some, you know, they had some isolation situations where they created for themselves and for other guys, and they got spaced, and I think that was a lot of them just figuring stuff out and talking to one another. Guys, people feed off that. You know, those two, when they're making plays and making plays for each other, you know, I think that's when we're going to be playing our best basketball.
Coach, what was the key to getting Trey some running lanes into the middle of the paint, floater range, and stuff like that in the fourth quarter? We were just seeing a lot of bodies for the first 2+ games of the series.
Well, he did that. You know, there were some things we worked on and talked about as a group. You know, when a team's trying to take something away from you, you can't do it on your own. And he knows that. And I thought he got really connected in pick and roll. And then he did in transition too, by attacking, you know, playing faster and reading those seams. But you know, the key for him and for DJ and you know, for all of us is, you know, if we space properly, we've got a chance. If we shrink the floor, Austin shrinks the floor enough on their own. You can't help them do it. You know, that gives those guards a chance. You know, we're not as big as they are. You know, and our guys, we have to make reads in the open court and in space to avoid playing in a crowd. And I think a big part of that too is just being willing to shoot. If we turn shots down, the floor gets even small. And you know, it's hard to do that. You know, if you don't see the ball go in, there's part of you. And that doesn't mean you shoot every time. You know, but to continue to stay aggressive is really important. And I think that's been the challenge for our group. When I say challenge, that's been the task, I should say, that we talked about after game 2. Just stay aggressive. And, our offense helped our defense tonight because I felt like we had a lot of breakdowns defensively that we're going to have to clean up. But when you score, they don't have to. They keep track of the points and you get those on offense. So it's good to see the ball going.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.